Okay, we're gonna be asking hard questions. How much semen do you dump in your boyfriend's asshole? And
if you ask me any semen questions, I'm gonna answer them.
Welcome to the Puller's Pit Podcast, hosted by BigMike and his buddy Ray Big Country Cote. This is your one-stop shop for everything related to arm wrestling and grip strength, news and entertainment. Presented by Infinity Functional Performance, 98 Arm Wrestling, Castle Rock Ranch in Golden Valley, Arizona, and Mad Tuna Fishing Charters. This is the Puller's Pit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Puller's Pit. I'm Big Mike, and I'm here with my buddy Big Country Ray Cote. And tonight's guest is founder of 98 Arm Wrestling. His name is Ryan Grondin. Welcome, Ryan.
Thanks, guys. Glad to be here.
You just had a big event this past weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, we had our Dragon Grip event. It went pretty well. I mean, we had some rough patches because the venue changed. It was pretty good.
So
I'm hearing it.
Hold on. Some stuff on the internet that I want you to expound on. So we got to get right into this. What was up with Big Sean Latimer? What went on with that situation?
So, you know, Sean showed up and sat down, and the venue asked if we could move some guys to the other side of the room. So we did that. And once we asked him to do that, he got mad that we asked him to move his chair. So he kind of kicked the chair and got mad and left. And, was upset about the event and stuff like that. So, I just killed it with kindness and just said, hey, sorry you feel that way. But it really was just mad that we asked him to move his seat. I guess he was comfortable in his seat. I don't know. But seemed like a bit of an overreact, but, what are you going to do?
So you run the Sean Latimer New Jersey State Arm Wrestling, correct?
Yeah.
And generally, how does that event go for you?
Pretty good. I mean, there's not a state championship in New Jersey, so we wanted to take it over and do one there. And Sean Hancock was originally going to do one, but Steve Walker threw a fit about it because he was like, you don't live in New Jersey. And he said, there's only like 4 or 5 of us that have a right to throw one, and Latimer was on the list. So I said, hey, Sean, you want to throw a New Jersey State Championship? Let's do it. And he was like, sure. So we did one, and but I don't know if we're going to do one now. We'll see. It'll just be a 98 New Jersey State Championship. So we'll see.
So with all your success in events you throw over the year, I know that Winter Blast is by far your biggest event. What do you expect for Winter Blast this coming March?
So our biggest one yet was 585 entries. Last year, it went down a little because there were a lot of events and a lot of things going on. So, I'm hoping to be in the 600 range, anywhere over 500 to 600, I think we're shooting for, because that will still have us as the biggest in the United States. So, that's what we're shooting for.
What are some of the problems that you find yourself having mostly with putting on events, especially an event that big that you put so much into to make it a success?
Some of the problems?
Yeah.
I don't know. We have a pretty good routine down, and it's going pretty well. I wouldn't call it problems, but we get a lot of everyone leaves there saying it was the best tournament and this and that. But then, there's those few guys that are like, that post like, oh, these guys must be making $1 million. And I'm like, well, dude, like the last Winter Blast, each night was 10 grand to have the venue. And I'm like, so we're 20 grand down before we even start the tournament. And people are just doing the math going, oh, 500 entries times $40. You guys made this much money. And I'm like, yeah, but we were already below that when we started the event, so.
Yeah, people are so silly about what it actually takes to actually even think about, even running an event. So I wanted to ask you a little bit
size
about
quality. You have to go deep in the pockets because you want to keep that quality. Then we have to pay that amount.
Mm-hmm.
But sorry to interrupt.
No. I wanted to ask you a little bit about your origin into arm wrestling. So what got you interested in the sport to begin with? I mean, what got you pulled in?
Same story as everyone, arm wrestling in school and watching Over the Top when I was young, loving arm wrestling and stuff. And then I didn't even know that there was a huge team right in my home state of New Hampshire, which Ray was already involved with them. And I didn't even know at the time. So then I moved down here near Philly and I went to a Philly practice and I 5 years ago now, and I got hooked. But then I tore my rotator cuff, and the arm wrestling part, that's kind of a different question. But to answer you, that's what got me into arm wrestling. And then it's a different story. It's tied together, but it's a different story how we started promoting.
Yeah, I mean, that's my next question is, obviously you found a love for this thing. And then what did you see where you said, wait a minute, I think that I could do something here and help grow this thing?
So basically me and some of the Philly guys went to some tournaments, and some of the tournaments were just open class and that's it. So we're going to those tournaments and just getting smashed by these higher level pros. And I'm like, man, that sucks. And a lot of the guys wouldn't even go to those tournaments with us because they felt intimidated. And I'm like, why don't we just start our own thing so that when, we do our own tournament with guys our level. And we started out doing the theme became the top elites are the 2% of the sport. And then the rest of us are the other 98% trying to get there. So I'm like, why don't we just do some tournaments that are more for the 98%? And where we treat everybody from a novice to the top to the pros equally. And we just started this 98% thing, and I think people resonated with the theme, and it just started growing really quick.
And it is growing pretty quick. How many states do you guys cover now?
Oh man, I know we have 11 franchise locations.
11 franchises.
One in Canada, and now we have a 98 golf franchise under 98 Sports.
So 98 Sports.
Yeah, because when I registered 98 Arm Wrestling, I thought the theme could work for any sport where the pros are the 2% and the rest of the people that play the sport are your 98. So I registered 98 Sports too at the time, just in the background. And this golf promotion saw I had made a page for it, and they found that page, 98 Sports, and they read the theme and everything. And they were like, dude, we want our promotion under 98 Sports, and we're going to start a franchise under 98 Sports for the golf. So
that's cool. Do you play golf? Are you a big golf guy?
I've played, but I'm not a big golf guy.
Yeah, me either.
200 handicap.
Ray, are you golf?
No, brother, I don't golf. I mean, I used to carry my dad's clubs around and aggravate him, but that's about as old as I got to.
Yeah.
I don't see how they say golf is for your stretch, because miniature golf freaking damn near puts me into coronary arrest. So, when you decided to do 98, and you were setting down the groundwork and figuring out the things that you wanted to do and how you wanted to represent it.
Yeah.
Did you foresee? Because I know you get a lot of hate from a lot of people within the community.
Yeah.
People who think you stole their idea, to people, purposely, banning athletes that compete in your promotion, to this year, you were telling me the other day, the sheer amount of people stepping on Winter Blast by putting events on either right next to Winter Blast or even right on top of it.
Yeah.
So, did you foresee any of these issues, especially the hate? Did you foresee getting this much hate for what you're doing?
No, it was weird. Like at first, people hated that I was so new to the sport and throwing tournaments. Like some of the old heads around here. And then once 98 got established and we started growing, like the franchise thing, people like, I don't like, to my knowledge, there's never been an arm wrestling promotion that franchised. So people saying we stole their ideas, I'm like, show me where that, like, someone asked me if we were going to franchise and I said no. And then a month went by and I was thinking, why not? Actually, why did I say no? I mean, we could. So then we kind of set up the framework for it and I put it out there. And within like 3 weeks, we had like 5 franchises right out of the gate. And I'm like, oh my God. So I don't think anyone else has done that, but we get a lot of hate. And I don't know why, because we just, we don't even compete with like most of these promotions cater to the pros and we don't. So we're not even like someone's competition really. Like we're more concerned about like the amateur level guys and like, the lower level pros. But like WSA, I mean, if you go win money at WSA, you have to be a high level pro to win that money. So we're not even their competition in any way, but we seem to get hate from a lot of other promoters.
Do you find that a lot of people that you've aligned yourself with, as your success is growing, and people that you felt you knew and you could trust, do you feel that they work behind you, behind the scenes against you, or do you feel that the people that you've made friends with are loyal and uplifting to your organization?
Yeah, there's probably like a handful of people that I really, really trust in the sport that I see that are consistently similar to us, that are like backing everybody up and, promoting others and not greedy and stuff, or not screwing over competitors. But I do see that people we've been friends with as we've grown have started to view us like all of a sudden a light switch went off where they're like, whoa, this is our competition. So you can see the difference in how they treat you, where, before it was all fun and games, but now that we're getting huge, like, hold on, this guy might become my competition. So
do a lot of these other leagues have non-competes, or what's the deal? Like, why do they have a beef with you?
You know what I mean, dude? I have no idea. Like, but there's a new league up here in the Northeast.
Like, I mean, those 2% could pull in your events, right? If they want
absolutely.
to,
and a lot of them do. So it's just, I don't know if it's the theme or, when we first came out, we weren't really that serious. We had a podcast where we just joke around the whole time. And, maybe people thought like these guys are jokers and they don't take the sport serious. But, we've actually, have like multiple podcasts now where, we have some that are just interviews. We got Robert Baxter coming on Thursday night from East versus West, but then we have our FTG Friday night. That's just like an open podcast that anybody can come on and just talk arm wrestling with us and joke around. And so I don't know what the hate is for, but we view it as motivation. Like the more the people hate on us, I'm like, we're just going to outwork them and we'll grind and show them what's up.
So speaking of your FTG Friday, why don't you expound a little bit more on that? Because I've been in that particular group many Friday nights. It takes up a few hours of my night. It's actually very entertaining. Dave Shell is very informative with his graphs and stuff that he puts out there. Randy, again, he seems to be you're Costello, he's Abbott. What is the? I mean, I know you just said anybody can come on, talk, whatever. But it really is, it's like you developed a brotherhood of a community with FTG Friday.
Yeah.
What do you think is the main success for that?
Well, to be honest, it wasn't always a podcast. We used to do a Zoom meeting and we would just put the link out and be like, anybody wants to come on this Zoom Friday night, we're hanging out, talking arm wrestling. And then we eventually started going live with it. And then we decided to turn it into like just like a podcast thing where it's like, let's just go live every Friday Night Live. And we turned it into FTG Friday Night Live because every time someone leaves the podcast, we say FTG, which is short for fuck that guy, basically for leaving the podcast. But you know, we mean it with love because all the guys that come on are great dudes. And we started having people coming on from all over the world. Like sometimes people pop on from Australia and it's like 10 a.m. there for us, but we're on at night. And we have people coming. You've been on, Ray, guys coming on from Africa, all over the place. So it's really cool to just talk to guys from different parts of the country, other countries, Canada. And it just turned into like a cool little community thing. And those guys have been so loyal to 98. And like, you know, we have like a little following and stuff like that. So,
sorry.
But yeah,
So
basically,
two specific topics I wanted to speak with you on and get your thoughts on.
Sure.
This week we're gonna have Katie Marie and my wife Autumn Cote coming on next Tuesday to discuss women's arm wrestling, the ups, the downs, you know, everything about it. Because I thought we should get a woman's perspective on what they think is the issue with women's arm wrestling.
Sure.
With throwing one of the, you know, well, actually, no, you throw the largest arm wrestling event in America, soon to be North America.
Hopefully.
What do you find is the most challenging thing that you face to get women to come to your event? And why do you think it's so hard to get women to support their own division?
I'll tell you my point of view. So like guys, like say me and you don't like each other. We want to pull each other to like prove ourselves. When the women don't like each other, they're like, I'm not pulling her. I'm not going to the same event as her. So like if women have beef with each other, they won't go to the event that this one's at or that one's at, or I don't like her. And I've noticed that. Now, I don't know if that's the only issue. It also, there's way less women than men. So, you know, and up here in the North for a while, you know, James Reed was throwing most of the tournaments up here before I got into this, and there were only 2 weight classes. So all the 130 weight arm wrestlers, women, stopped going to arm wrestling tournaments because they'd have to pull like a 160 pound woman, and it wasn't, you know, they felt it wasn't fair, so they stopped going to tournaments. And I think that kind of killed it up here for women. So now we brought back like the lower weights, so, you know, like 130, you know, and stuff like that. So now we have 4 weight classes for the women. But Winter Blast, we didn't start getting women to really turn out till we did women's payout. So we got a sponsor that just happened to say, hey, I want to sponsor specifically the women's payout. So we did a women's payout, and then way more women came out. So that was cool. I mean, even if you do women for free at a tournament, we've done that plenty of times and no one showed up. But we still order the medals just in case. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to get women to come out to tournaments, but it seems like the invitational round robins are working for the women. They like that. And that, you know, from what I understand, like they have to pay to do those round robins and stuff like that. Like they pay $100 and then they use that money for the winnings, you know, at the end of the round robin. But I mean, it seems like they're willing to travel on their own dime and pay $100 to enter to go to those round robins. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, you were there. I had my first event under the 98 umbrella, you know, and we had 6 women. You know, the 6 women that showed up were 6 women that had super matches. Sarah Ray, who won everything, I believe she went home with like $1,200. I was given, what was it, $225 for first place. I also had 4 weight classes. We just ended up having to combine everyone because we didn't have enough to fill the weight classes. But then a tournament that's not giving any money, just a medal, and I saw the medals and they weren't all that great, had like 14, 15 women show up. Yeah. So it's just like Now, do you think this is a new phenomenon, or do you think this is the way it's always been? Because I've been in the sport since the 80s.
Yeah.
And I remember, as you mentioned, I was a part of Granite Arms out of Hooksett, New Hampshire. That Drew's big shout out to Granite Arms.
Yeah.
I remember going to events, especially in Massachusetts, and there was a ton of women who showed up to these things.
Yeah.
Where do you think the disconnect came? I mean, you have great legends of arm wrestling like Lori Cole, Angela Christine Rose, going all the way back into the 70s. Where do you think the disconnect with female arm wrestling started to where they just stopped showing up?
Well, I think there's a huge difference between like an 80s rocker chick and the chicks of today, dude. You know what I mean? Like, that might have something to do with it. You got Pat Benatar showing up to arm wrestle, and nowadays it would be like fucking Paris Hilton arm wrestling. It's like a different breed of women these days.
That's for sure there. Trust me, being married to Autumn and having to see what she struggles with just to get into a decent competition.
Yeah.
It's insane. I see her train her butt off, for months, and to show up to a competition and there's no one there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dude, it's heartbreaking when you buy like hundreds of dollars of medals for the women and no one shows up, and I'm like, what do I do with all these medals? We end up giving them to the kids at the next tournament.
Yeah. I tell you, she's training her butt off for Winter Blast, man. She really wants to come out and show out.
Nice.
So is my daughter. My daughter's like, she's like a little animal in the gym. Saying, I keep
Dude, I see the videos.
Yeah, I keep telling her she's gonna, she's facing an 11-year-old and this and that. She goes, I don't care, Daddy. I'm the champion. I'm the Celtic Storm. I'm gonna whoop up. So,
that's awesome.
We're really looking forward to Winter Blast, man.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to talk to you about, as you know, I'm the creator, inventor of the Country Crush weightlifting hand.
Yeah.
And I sold the company and I left the sport, and I come back, and it seems like the sport is just oversaturated with everybody and their mother.
Yeah.
Making handles.
Oh, yeah. That too.
Or different products. Like I got one today, and I wanted to mention it from Mithril.
Okay, yeah.
I gotta tell you, man, it's this thing is unique in a lot of ways, but the one way that I like, if you notice, each section
dude,
spins, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you grip up on this thing, you put your fingers on each section.
Yeah.
Works each finger independently, right?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Of course, you've got the 4 connection points that allows you to hit the angle in many different ways. So,
wow, what a plug, Ray.
Yeah, right.
Hey,
no, that looks like a great piece of equipment, though. I mean, the spinning little grips on the handle got me, dude. That made me believer.
I'm a firm believer, and Ryan will tell you, I don't take anything for free.
Yeah.
This man's tried to give me shirts, and I'm like, no, I'll pay for them. I paid for this handle. Now I'll tell you, the handle is a little pricey, but I mean, now that I've got it and I see the quality of it, I can see why. But then man, you got to get ready to, when it gets to this country and ready for delivery, you got to get ready to pay the duty fees.
Yeah.
So by the, you pay for the handle. By the time I got done paying the duty fees, this is like a $200 handle.
Right.
That's an investment.
I mean, it looks solid, dude. It looks heavy.
Oh, bro,
it's like a nice handle.
Believe it or not, it's remarkably light.
Really? Oh, nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's
looks solid though.
Maybe 2 pounds, if that.
Nice.
But it's very solid.
Yeah, it looks
this right here just blows my mind.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that in looking at it when I saw it on the website, but that's pretty sick.
Yeah. Again, being the creator of Country Crush when I owned it, there was and Mike was right there with me in the beginning, and he can attest to this. There was no knockoffs of my handle.
Yeah.
Now I mean, God, I see.
Now they're on Temu, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, they're on Temu, they're on TikTok. You know, Billy Ortegas, Combat Arm Sports. I'm ordering one of his new handles. I believe he's calling it the Lockjaw. I'm ordering one of his handles, and I want to see how close to the Country Crush it really is. I mean, it looks like he copied it almost identically.
Yep.
You know, and if it's a good handle, I'll say it's a good handle, right? To me, somebody knocking off my idea is a compliment. You know, it's a legacy that will keep going. But, you know, what do you feel? Do you feel that people just take advantage of the sport and by putting out I've seen some stupid shit out there, you know,
Yeah.
just like blows my mind. But do you feel overall that the sport is trying too hard to be a commercial market? And even though it's been around since 1954, it hasn't fully blossomed into that type of entity? Or do you feel it's just it's a shoot for all and whoever can make money, make money?
You know, I think you can tell just from the quality of the equipment, the guys that are taking it serious or not. You know, like, look at that handle. Amazing. And I've seen other handles that are just like, you use it once and it bends open and you're like, what am I going to do with this? You know, like, or, you know, things like that. So I think you can kind of tell, like, the guys that are just throwing junk out there to make money, or the guys that are taking it serious and trying to make a real training handle like Country Crush. I mean, there's not many people that don't know or have a Country Crush handle in arm wrestling. I have some myself that you sent me, actually, when I did my very first event. You sent me some to raffle off. So yeah, that's how we met, actually. Thanks for that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now we know why they didn't get raffled off. You kept them.
Yeah. No, we raffled like 6 of them off because you sent me a bunch of them. And then 2 were left over that no one raffled on. And I was like, well, I've always wanted one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to talk to you on. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but I'll put it out there anyways.
Sure.
And I want your opinion on it. You know, when I first became part of 98 franchise, I was the first franchise to come on. Then I woke up one morning and there's a post up on Facebook that I'm a member of the AUA. Can you kind of explain what the AUA is, the benefits, or if there is any benefit to having it? And do you see it something being sustainable?
So the whole concept of the AUA was for this. So if you had the AUA on your tournament, there were certain things that you met as a standard for that promotion. Like, you're using certified refs, you're doing a live feed, you submit all your brackets to Aries and Corey Miller in them. And, it was supposed to be like a set standard so that if you saw that logo on a promotion, then that's going to be a decent tournament and quality and all that stuff. And then also it was supposed to lead to like a national event at the end of the year, not a nationals that leads to a worlds, like just a national tournament. So Sean had kind of parted ways with like Denise and Leonard and them. So he wanted to start like his own thing. So AUA was going to be that and stuff. And he invited, I felt honored because I'm like, oh, dude, we're just 98, who are we? But he invited 98, Mikey Oliva from Pro Gear down in Florida, and Billy Ortegas from TAL, and Bill Collins to be like the board members of the AUA. So we had 5 guys on there that could vote, and, an uneven number of people. So that was going to be the committee, and that was going to be the purpose of it. And that's basically how it started.
That sounds like a great idea. I didn't know that existed. I've been out of the sport for a couple of years. I'm just now getting back into it with Ray here. And so I had no idea that was something you guys were undertaking. That's pretty ambitious. And did it come to fruition or no?
So I mean, Sean's having his first event March 14th, I think, in Vegas. So that's their first big event under AUA. But it's so close to Winter Blast, I don't think I can get to it because that's a really rough couple weeks for me leading up to Winter Blast. So, but I know Billy Ortegas is going there because he's trying to get leveled up and reffing up to level 4. And I know Mikey's going there to help with brackets and doing some commentary and stuff like that. So I was supposed to go, but it falling so close to Winter Blast, I don't think I can pull that off. So we'll see.
Yeah, as a competitor, it really sucked because I was going to go. I really wanted to compete in it. I mean, it's only 4 hours from my house.
Yeah.
But I'm also an old man, and I heard that the Masters division there is pretty stacked. And Winter Blast is a bucket event. So I had to make a decision of, do I want to spend the money, because that's $1,000 a weekend to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Or do I want to save my money and save my strength and put it on the biggest stage in the country? So for me, obviously I chose Winter Blast.
Yeah.
Not just to support you, but I think that I hope that the competition is going to be a little thicker for my division. I know Sean Latimer is going to be there. Well, he says he's going to be there.
Well, now,
now who knows, right? But, we touched on it a little bit. What other events are going on, close or on top of Winter Blast in March?
Oh, there's
not to promote them, but just want to get your thought process on everything and what promoters should do to try to prevent this.
So I'll say this, to prevent this, I think everybody should go to armfighter.com, and this is just because that already exists, and just list your events so that anybody can go on there and just check out what's going on that month. Armfighter.com, go to events, and you can submit your event. Every event I throw, I submit on there. That way there's no one saying like, I didn't know about your event, this and that. But if everyone did that, that would be very helpful. Also, if you do see an event close to yours, like reach out to the promoter and talk to them, because sometimes I might be able to move my event easier than you can if you've had yours booked longer or something like that, or but there's so many pop-up promoters that are just throwing like, oh, this is my backyard barbecue bash or my garage super match series, and they're making pullers choose, because obviously a puller is going to go to something that's like in his backyard, that's closer to drive to just out of convenience. But you're kind of causing some of those guys to miss like a legit tournament where they can get ranked and this and that and get points.
Yeah.
So it's hard to like understand why that happens.
Now for Winter Blast, you incentives to more popular arm wrestlers to try to get them to come to your event, or are you on the wave thing of, if they show, they show, if they don't, they don't?
A little bit of both. Like, if I know someone's traveling far to come, I'll tell like, hey, do you want a super match while you're here? You know what I mean? Like, give them an opportunity, stuff like that, because there's always a lot of eyes on Winter Blast, and a lot of the guys that have done super matches at Winter Blast, have ended up on other big cards like East versus West or Knuckles Up when they were around, or, Mac or this or that. So, and same with the tournament itself, like you win, like, for example, we had some amateur classes that had 27 guys in it, like, if you win at Winter Blast, like you deserve that win to go through that many people. So usually the guys that win are beasts in every class. Just you got to be a pretty dominant person to win at Winter Blast. So that's one thing I think people notice. Like those guys that win there and do well there are usually guys that are ready for that next level. But that's the incentive. Like, come out. We don't like we have the dragon trophies that people are kind of liking. So people come out for the dragon. It's like a 9-pound like dragon statue for first place for the pro classes, and then we try to have the best medals in the game if we can. So that's what we work at. And then the quality of the event, we always have it at a nice hotel or somewhere really nice. We put a lot of money into the venue. This year we're gonna have vendors there and stuff like that, like 3D printers, all kinds of stuff. We got some clowns coming to do balloons for the kids. We got all kinds of stuff going on this year, so it'll be interesting.
So tell us a little bit more. I know you have a website up and running. I know you have a store. So I want to give you a little bit more opportunity to talk about 98, promote some of the things that you personally have going.
Okay.
Stuff like that. I think we covered a lot of other stuff, and I think it was good information. But my main reason to have you come on is we really wanted to give you the opportunity to really, obviously, shout out, your events, people that you're working with, the franchises. What is like some of the sponsors? I know that you worked hard to get a national sponsorship, which benefits all the franchises, which is Infinity.
Yep.
Performance. What are some of the other things that you have going down the road, that we can look forward to as fans? Because first and foremost, I'm a fan of 98. I was actually kind of shocked that you even asked me to be a franchise. And I was like, this guy's got to be really crazy. But what are some of the things who are some of the owners? Who do you have that's on your team, and what do they got going on nationwide?
Well, you obviously, and you've already thrown your first event, and you cover 4 states. So that's your territory with Mark, which is really cool. Then we got Brian Parliament up in Canada, in Alberta. He runs the Through the Fingers podcast. And so those guys came on as a franchise, like the podcast guys. We got Alan Vaughn. He's down in North Carolina. He's throwing tons of super match events, things like that. He's planning his first tournament. Nathan McAllen, New Mexico. He's planning his first tournament coming up. Great guy and super supportive. Like, I know he sponsored some stuff with you. He wants to sponsor some stuff for the kids at Winter Blast. His daughters arm wrestle. Super passionate about the sport. The Passmores in Georgia are a franchise owner. They're planning their first event for, I believe, like June or July or something in the summertime there. Who else? We got 98 Antietam. They're Maryland. And that's Colby Hutzel and Josh Berger. They throw the Battle at Antietam, which is one we used to throw, but now that they took over Maryland, we handed that tournament off to them. And then they threw that Club Havana one that was really awesome, the Cuban Muscle Crisis. And then we got Mikey Oliva down in Florida, who just teamed up with Dave Flaherty, and the guys that are running the golf promotion are going to run an arm wrestling one also down there together as a team. And then we just signed up James Latta from South Carolina. And dude, he's so motivated. That kid is so motivated, and he's very good at editing video. So he's offered up too. Like, if anybody needs help editing, throw him some stuff, give him some ideas, and he'll try to make some clips for people if anybody just needs some help, But he's very passionate about that. Sean Hancock and Tim Bresnan came on as franchise owners. They're supposed to be planning some events, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah,
name there.
Am I missing anybody?
Tell us a little bit about the website.
So I set it up so that It's supposed to be set up so like all the franchises are listed on there. We set up a store so that each franchise has like their own section of the store, and they can send me their logos of different merch ideas, and I can just put them out there for them and throw it on there. And originally I was setting it up so that, what we're going through Printify. So there, each sale has like a few dollars, and I was going to send the profit to the franchise owners. But the way the website is, it's like difficult to go through every single sale and like figure out, $2 for this, $1.50 for this, $3 for this, and send it to everyone. So instead, I'm just giving all the because most of the orders are from the franchise owners themselves. So I'm like, let me just give them a discount code, and they'll probably save more money than they're making anyway off the rest of the community. So, but yeah, like Ray's got the biggest collection of 98 shirts on the planet. I think he orders a new shirt like every week, and I'm like, damn, dude, you must just have stacks of t-shirts like everywhere. It's crazy. But
I literally do. My wife went out and got boxes that we put at the foot of our bed, because I've got 6 drawers, dresser drawers that are t-shirts, and then I have 5 boxes at the foot of my bed, and she has them labeled. I mean, she took a lot of time, man. She actually categorized it: 98 shirts, Stallion Squad shirts, or like, I get these funny shirts that this one says, "I'm the best farter." Oh, the best father,
Yeah.
So, she's literally I literally have 2 big boxes.
Yeah.
Say 98 shirts.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, like I pretty much wear a 98 shirt every day of the year. Like I just only have 98 shirts. Like that's all I have now. I just like weeded out everything else, or shirts that like from other arm wrestling, things like that. But most of my gear is 98 shirts all the time. But the website, yeah, it's supposed to be, I want to be able to list all the, like we're working on getting it all set up still, but we want to be able to list all the 98 tournaments across the whole country on there. I set up a thing so that they could just submit their things and we can put them up there. I want people to go there to find out about 98, and they can find out about each franchise individually. They can find out about our sponsors, our affiliate sponsors that have discount codes, whatever, news about what's going on across the country with 98. And, we're growing so rapidly that it's like, it's crazy. Like to find the time to do everything is now becoming a problem to keep up with everything, which is good and bad,
So you and I have talked a little bit, and you've mentioned that you're trying to develop and gain a 98 headquarters. What is the idea behind the 98 headquarters, and how close are you to opening that up?
The idea behind it is this. So what's the biggest complaint from promoters is trying to get money into our sport and get sponsors. And so, we keep throwing tournaments at all these venues, and I'm watching these, restaurants, bars, breweries, they're making the real money off the food and alcohol. So my idea was, what if we open up like our own venue space where we can provide the food and drinks to the crowd and make money on that end too. And then that money goes into the sport. So like we're bringing money from outside of the sport into the sport. But so that's like, so say I throw a tournament at this place every 3 months. Every other night of the month I could be doing like comedy club, music venue, renting it out for private parties, and all that money's coming into our sport. We're just bringing in money from outside of the sport. So we're not trying to make money off arm wrestlers or trying to take advantage of the community or selling weird things. Like we can just bring money in from entertaining others, but bring it in and use it for, arm wrestling. And if that works out, I mean, we could have a headquarters at every franchise location. That'd be crazy. And essentially, we all just become event planners. Like that would be fucking awesome.
Have you
So
started looking at any potential locations first for the first headquarters? Or
I found a really cool location. I went and looked at a location. It's an old gym. They sent me a contract and everything so that I could see like what the rent would be. And it was the contract from the company that was in there before. And she said, like, if you come on board, this is very similar to what it would be. So, and the cool thing, they were like, if you can come up with like first month's rent and a down deposit, we'll give it to you for like a few months free to renovate. I was like, wow. So that's cool.
Wow.
And it basically just needs paint, probably redo some lighting, maybe some flooring, but it's huge. It's like 4,500 square feet, and it's got some office space, and it has like a nice lobby. So it's ideal, but really to move in there, like sure, we probably could come up with the money to just get in there, but I want to make sure we succeed. So I'm like, if we get a chunk of money where we can get in there, we can renovate, and then also purchase like chairs and tables. That's going to be important to throw an event, So having all that stuff to just like, say I say Friday night's a comedy night and we have no chairs and tables. Now we got to go rent some, stuff like that. So I want to just make sure we're ready to go as soon as we open the doors and we can start renting that space out properly. But yeah, that's the plan and we're working towards it. So, we're just putting money aside and, every little bit of extra money we get, we're just kind of putting it away towards the first headquarters. And I think once that first headquarters is open, I really feel like it could fund the whole franchise where we're saying like, oh, hey, Ray needs 2 arm wrestling tables. This guy needs a banner. Or this guy needs some money towards, payouts or something like that. And we could really do some big things. And, as a network, 98 would just grow together, So that's the goal with the franchise event space.
And I do need 2 tables. So anytime you want to donate to the table, just let me know. So we're coming up on an hour. Maybe to give you an opportunity to give shout outs to any sponsors that you have, explain what they are and how they benefit the athletes of arm wrestling. Yeah.
First, I'll go with IFP, Infinity Functional Performance, Glenn Cochran. They are East versus West's biggest sponsor. And they actually noticed us because we promote like crazy. Ray's addicted to promoting like I am. We just post all day long. So they wanted to come on as a sponsor. And, I was like, holy Christ, this is awesome. So we brought them on, and they're all about, health, wellness. If you need, testosterone, peptides, hormone replacement, whatever, anything along those lines, stem cells, they cover all that stuff. So, and as a 98 franchise owner, and if you compete in a 98 franchise tournament, the benefits that they and the discounts that they've created a package specifically for all 98 franchise owners is amazing. So check that out. If you're already on like TRT or something, I would compare the price because I'm pretty sure they'll help you out for a lot less than what you're currently paying for and stuff like that. And then iPackage, they do like custom packages, stuff like that. They came on as a sponsor. Chris Allen, he trains up in Upper New Jersey, has his own business, super nice guy, throws some money towards our event for Winter Blast. So huge shout out to them. Pro Gear Arm Wrestling, Mikey Oliva down in Florida, always supports everything we do. I mean, if like I just called him and said, hey, can you come do brackets at our event next month? And he's like, I'll be there. So he's coming up from Florida, and he does some of the brackets at Winter Blast too. So he'll be at Winter Blast. So thank you to him. He usually sponsors Winter Blast. So that's huge. Like those are our 3 main sponsors for the most part. TAL came on recently and started throwing money towards our female payouts. to help with, getting women to come to Winter Blast, and that helped a lot. So thank you to TAL. And Billy Ortegas has been like a good friend to our whole franchise. So, really good dude. Even just advice on like ref stuff or league stuff. Like they got a really good league going on there, and it's very organized in Texas. So, that's our main sponsors and stuff like that we deal with on a regular basis. Club 14 down in Florida, Club 14 Fitness, they sponsored us, and they're going to probably be involved with the golf stuff down there because their location, there's a lot of good golf clubs around there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We're still looking for some, so if you're a sponsor out there, hit us out.
Nice, man. And with that, I'm also going to shout out our sponsors, first and foremost, Castle Rock Ranch LLC, Golden Valley, Arizona.
Yeah.
They really stepped up, provided us a venue for free, over $9,000 in cash. And then a big shout out to Epic Tuna and Mad Tuna and Epic Engineering, John Bergeson Jr. As you stated earlier, Nathan McCallan threw some money at it. Mod. So big shout out to those guys, as well as sportsgrip.com, engagegrips.com, and our biggest equipment sponsor, armcombat.com, who gave us free handles for the amateurs divisions, as well as raffled off of his tables. So Ryan, I want to thank you for coming on, man, and I appreciate your support. Thank you, man, for encouraging me to do this podcast. Thank Big Mike. He's the mastermind behind all this and has the vision and the direction that we're going. Don't forget, next week we're going to have Katie May and Autumn Cote as our guests talking about women's arm wrestling. And guys, support those who support you. So make sure you go to www.98arms.com. Get your 98 merch today. Show your pride and show who you support, guys. As always, peace, love, and hang loose.